What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very well. Thanks for being here. Good to see ya. This transmog that I'm wearing is courtesy of Twitch chat, so you're welcome. It is absolutely god-awful, and we're here for it. We're going to talk about Holy Pally today, and in a Floodgate plus 12. I will talk about my build in just a second. Here's a highlight of kind of what we're doing, okay? Yo, I really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe on the video. I gotta get some coffee. Bye. So I want to talk about the difficult packs that are in the Floodgate. Floodgate is a really challenging dungeon, and we're going to talk about the very first pack, which has got the flamethrower guy, the blood warp dudes, how to handle those, big mama boss, nail gun plus the channeled fire ability. I forget what it's called, but when those two things are happening at the same time, what are you doing? The second boss, which mostly entails your dispels as a healer, swamp face trash, swamp face boss fight, bubbles right after swamp face, and what to do at the end of swamp face so that you're ready for bubbles. The lightning dudes in the lower section of Floodgate that put a dispellable lightning debuff, you got to get that. Then the very last two lightning circle dudes before the last boss, which are very difficult, and then the last boss himself. Those are the packs we're going to talk about. Going to talk about your cooldowns, how to manage them, when you should be careful with them, how to time them correctly. We're going to talk about doing damage as a Holy Pally, and I'm going to do a highlight on the swamp face fight in particular, because I still think it's one of the most difficult fights in the entire Mythic Plus pool, okay? That is what we're doing. This is the build that I'm looking at here. So for me, in Mythic Plus, I actually don't run this. Sorry, I just got out of raid the other night. This is fine. This is fine. This is not what I run every time. Often I will run Power of the Silver Hand, so I'll just show you that really quickly. And then actually I need to dump my other stuff too. I'll link the build down below. Don't worry. Get rid of this, and we're going to go here and here. I want this. Yeah, so you want these talents here. This is what I'm running. We're Herald of the Sun. I do run Power of the Silver Hand. I know it's weird. I understand that. I know I'm also running Overflowing Light. I get it. Some of these things aren't going to give you the craziest amount of healing, but they're still actually pretty valuable. I really value Power of the Silver Hand. I think it's a fantastic talent. I think it's kind of slept on right now, and some of the holy shocks that you get are enormous. They're absolutely massive. But what we're primarily doing with this build is we're going between Beacon of Virtue plus our 2-minute wings, right? Beacon of Virtue plus your 2-minute wings. That's happening to cover a healing problem. When we don't have wings available, we are always using Divine Toll and Holy Prism plus Beacon. So those are the two combos that you have. Beacon plus wings, Beacon plus Divine Toll, Beacon plus Holy Prism. Though that's how you handle every single situation in every dungeon. I just got my 4-piece bonus this week, and it's not even like that good. I have a champ piece still, so it's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. It's just the way it goes. But I do have 4-piece. Once you get 4-piece, you're able to have Divine Toll become a 30-second cooldown instead of a 45-second cooldown, and it's very, very strong. That's my item level there. Those are my stats at the bottom of the screen. You'll see the stats at the bottom of the screen on this video as well. You can see them there. About 24% crit and about 34% haste. This is a new route for Floodgate. If you haven't done it in a week or so, or you've been a little bit just under the radar, this is where we go now. You're gonna walk right in between this guy and this pack here. You're not gonna aggro either of them. You're picking up a bunch of mobs that are on this hill. We are not going to the right anymore. We are not going to like this plant over here and waiting for the patrol to get around. We don't do that. We just walk through here. Okay, so that's the new kind of route. This is something actually I did on the PTR a little bit, but it never really caught on. Other people were doing it on the PTR as well, but anyway, everybody's doing it now, so just be aware that's the routing you're going to take. And then this is the first pull you're going to do. Typically you're going to lust here. We forgot to lust apparently. I don't know why, but what you want to look out for here is of course the shredders, but more importantly the flamethrower, which I'm about to walk right into like an idiot. And then the guy doing the surveying beam, that's really important as well. You can get, as far as damage goes, I'll keep touching on this throughout the dungeon, but the damage for Holy Pally is actually can be pretty good. I've gotten lots of packs, like in these opening packs when I pop Bloodlust, there's like Bloodlust plus wings. I'm doing like 2 million damage per second. So I know people are memeing on Holy Pally damage, but like it's actually not that bad in my opinion. I think it's quite it's fine. It's not the best, not as good as Mistweaver, probably not as good as Disc Priest, but it's still okay. Surveying Beam is something that you want to be paying attention to. This is the fire that gets channeled onto people, and then later on when they get nail gunned, they'll get nail gunned in place and have fire channeling a pool of fire underneath them, and then they'll die. So get the Surveying Beam if you can, kick it, stun it, whatever you want, whatever you can do to help out your team. That is the most important thing. And of course, with these big guys, watch out for the flamethrowers. Don't stand in front of the flamethrowers like I did, or you'll die. Okay, very important. Okay, get the boxes. These packs are kind of inconsequential. You're just going to use regular cooldowns, which, you know, you can. I would use your wings in here once it's up, and then use Divine Toll offensively, because these guys don't do any damage. There's like very little damage going off here. So try to use Divine Toll offensively, okay? I'm doing almost 1 million damage per second without wings. So keep that in mind. You can do that. You can really do that. You can do that much damage. You just have to like understand what pack you can do it on and what pack you can't do it on. Here comes the nail gun pack. Again, this is a nail gun plus flame. These surveyors do the flame thing, so just be aware of that. Be aware of the nail gun damage. It's actually quite substantial. And then if somebody's getting nail gun plus the surveying beam, that has to be dealt with. These wind up guys are really annoying because they do a lot of damage right next to you. They're spinning. Our AoE blind does not stop those guys from spinning. I don't know why. It's kind of dumb, but you can stun them with Hodge, but that's about it. You need other people to help you out with the CC on that one. Okay, again, more packs. You'll deal with these packs. You'll figure it out. These aren't too difficult. We're gonna move on to Big Mama. First boss fight. I chose to use wings here right away. This is interesting. So you want to have some kind of cooldown available for the intermission, right? And remember what I said, you have Beacon of Virtue plus wings, and then Beacon of Virtue plus Holy Prism, Divine Toll. Those are your combos. I chose to just do wings right now to get as much damage onto the boss as possible. And then I knew that I would have wings up and available for the second intermission. So I'm covering the first intermission in my head with Holy Prism and Divine Toll. That's what I'm doing, okay? Because right now I've obviously I've used wings. It's gone. So I want to do that just to get the damage out there. I want to do as much damage as I possibly can on my Holy Pally while I can do it. During this phase, nothing really serious is going on for you as a healer. Nothing is happening. You have to kick something. There's no real damage. When Jumpstart happens, here comes the damage, and boom, I've got Holy Prism and Divine Toll. There's my Beacon of Virtues on everybody, and then I use my Prism. There's Divine Toll. It's putting that Insurance Hot on everybody. The Insurance Hot is going into my beacons as well, and we're able to cover this moment here. Now, we move forward, and we're looking to have wings on the next intermission. And lo and behold, wings is about 5 seconds away now, and we kill the last ad, and here comes the intermission, and boom, guess what? We have wings ready to go with Beacon of Virtue. I press Virtue into wings, and everybody's fine. We throw our Hammer of Wrath, Judgment, another Hammer of Wrath actually, because it crit. I will never stop taking Veneration, by the way, which is your Hammer of Wrath, healing everybody for like 250% of the damage that it deals. I think Veneration is an amazing talent, and I think you should actually take it. I think it's really good. That's just me though. If you don't like it, that's fine, but I think it does a significant amount of healing. So there you go. We have covered that intermission with wings. We covered the first one with Holy Prism and Divine Toll. The third intermission doesn't even really end up happening. You do not want to use your cooldowns here. You need to be very, very careful about using your cooldowns at the end of this fight, because if you do that, you will not have them up for the next blood guys. So the blood warp guys is what we're talking about next. These are these guys here, Contort Blood. You're going to fight a couple of these in a row, and you're going to have to be really careful when you do it, because you have to have a cooldown ready to go. So here comes Warp Blood. We have Darkness went down, which is really nice. We have Holy Prism plus Divine Toll. That's the big combo with our Virtue, of course. We're getting everybody up again. We have a wings proc, which is really nice. That gives us 15% crit, 15% damage and healing. Very, very good. And then we have wings coming up for the second blood warp. I end up using it here. Let me just back up a little bit. Sorry. There's that blood blast. Here comes blood warp. We're going to pop wings plus virtue, and we're going to cover this entire event here. You can see how much healing wings ends up producing. It makes this, some of these mechanics like completely, irrelevant. It just does so much healing. And that's good. We're through that. Now, we are moving towards the next blood guy. But thankfully, this guy takes a little detour here. And I think I end up using Divine Toll offensively here. Can't remember. I hope I do. This is one of those situations where you need to understand your timings. And you need to understand... I'm just going to die. I don't know. Oh, it was the windup that was killing me. You need to understand that you have a moment here where there isn't a lot of damage going out unless you're standing next to windup like I was. There's not a lot of damage going up in this pack, and so you can actually use Divine Toll offensively, and you will have it back in time for the next pack, which is the more dangerous pack. So you can see Divine Toll's coming off cooldown right here, and boom, it's already back. And I'm going to have it up for the Blood Warper. So the more advanced healing mechanics are basically all about timings and figuring out when do I have a window here to do damage so that I will have my cooldown back up in time for the warp blood guys. I need to have it back up in time for the warp blood guys. That's really important. Very, very important. So as you start to get better at it, you will learn to min-max those windows where you can actually do damage. If you don't min-max it at all, then your damage in particular will be really, really low. We covered the first warp blood with Holy Prism and Divine Toll. We're covering the second warp blood with our 2-minute wings. Okay. And you can see everybody is basically fine here. This is how you do it. Okay. Throw a little Hammer of Wrath there. It's so annoying. This RPG kept going off. I guess I should have stunned it. That was actually honestly on me, but having these circles go off 24/7 was really annoying. Okay. That's that one. And then we're getting the box and we're moving forward. Now, this next section, this guy ends up pulling all these little bomb guys and he pulls it into the next pack, which is actually kind of insane, but it's a good pull. So he's pulling all these C4ium bomb guys in with this nail gun guy. And he actually bloodlusted this pull, which is very interesting. What I think you should do, generally speaking, on when you're pulling these bomb guys is as soon as they plant their C4ium bombs, just move away. Just move over to the left, and then they'll plant their bombs, and then you move backwards, and they'll plant their bombs, and then you move to the right. Like, just get out of the way of these bombs, because if they end up yoinking somebody in with the harpoon for whatever reason, then that person will die. I mean, that just is going to happen. So you want to be as far away from those bombs as you possibly can be, and you'll be in a good spot. But this pull is doable. You just have to try and, I would say, get those harpoon casts as best you can. And for us as a healer, the only real damage going off in this fight is the nail gun. So just watch for the nail gun, watch for the damage. And then we skip this pack here because we ended up pulling stuff in the water. So we're skipping that. We do Mind Soothe it. It's quite hard to actually skip that without a Mind Soothe. Then you've got Double Shred Dude. Once again, watch out for the flamethrowers. Do not get burned. Keep dancing around, keep moving around. Watch people's health bars. People will stand in the Shred Nation for like a second or two, and then they're basically dead. So you need to be really careful about watching that. That guy got channeled on with the... he was getting the flamethrower thing channeled on him, unfortunately. So the priest was already low, and then Surveying Beam was coming out, and nobody CC'd it, including me, and he got beamed to death here, unfortunately, for him. So that's too bad. We need to be better on our CC there, but yeah, watch the flamethrowers. Second boss here, this is a very frustrating boss, in my opinion. The only real thing to look out for here is the Dispel. You need to Dispel basically right away. If you wait for too long to Dispel somebody, they will just die to the damage over time. So I have it on me. There's one tick right there. There's a second tick. Plus, when you Dispel the person, they take a tick of damage as well. So I went down to like 35% HP there just from the bomb, and I Dispelled that pretty quickly. So just remember, you really have to Dispel super, super fast on this fight, and it will make the boss fight a lot easier. Okay, I'm just going to move forward, though. The Twitch is having a moment right now. Go to there. Okay, so this next pack It's pretty crazy. If I can get to it. My video is, of course, I don't know what's going on with this thing. It is having a moment. Give me a second here. You know what? We're just going to refresh it. 38:43. Probably should just go to the VOD, but whatever. Okay, so these guys in the water. We're done with the boss fight. We're going to pull these kelp guys in the water, right? And these guys are really dangerous. So they do this jettison kelp. Oops, sorry about that. And it does AoE damage to everybody. You can see our health bar is just ping-ponging back and forth. You need to CC these guys with AoE CC. You can't overlap either, or else you're going to run out of like time to kill them. They need to die quickly, and they need to be CC'd in unison over and over again. This is the swamp face trash. These are very dangerous. Use your AoE blind and use your single target Hodge just to help the group out. We do not have the best crowd control for this, right? Because we only have one AoE CC. You're gonna have to rely on, you know, your demon hunters and your shamans to help you out with that to get through this pack. It's yeah, kick restorative, and then stun the jettison, and then do big healing. You're gonna have to probably pop wings here, which is a little annoying because you're gonna want to have wings for swamp face. But the reality is, you have to use something on this pack unless it is CC'd perfectly, which it never really is. So just be aware of that, okay? Now let's talk about Swamp Face. You always want to move left, basically, on Swamp Face. The nice thing that they changed about Swamp Face is that the healer is no longer tethered to anybody, and you no longer take a dot anymore. So you can see on the raid frames, everybody has a dot except for me. I'm the only one without a dot. So I just have to heal everybody else. I don't have to heal myself. I just heal everybody else, which is actually kind of nice and is a really interesting change that they made. It's very helpful. What you want to do on this fight, again, you want to rotate between Divine Toll and Prism with Virtue, of course. And then you want to use that for one of the wave slams. You're always blowing your cooldowns when the waves are coming out, okay? So you got Divine Toll, Holy Prism for one of them, and then Wings for another one of them, okay? And you just go back and forth between those two. If you get a really good Blessing of Autumn timing, then you'll get at least 2 casts of Wings off in this fight. And yeah, this is just how you have to handle it. It's very, very challenging. This is one of the hardest boss fights in the game still, even though it's been nerfed. The damage profile is just really, really high. You're going to have to sustain like 2 to 2.5 million HPS the entire time to keep people healthy. What you want to do in terms of Beacon of Virtue timing, very important. Do not just throw a Beacon of Virtue willy-nilly. Press Beacon of Virtue right before the mudslide comes out. That's this frontal here, okay? Press Beacon of Virtue now, then start healing people, okay? Then your Beacon of Virtue will come back just in time for the waves. You can see 3, 2. It's a little bit delayed, actually. I should have pressed my Beacon of Virtue 1 second earlier than I did. So you want to press it now, Beacon of Virtue now, into your Divine Toll, into your Holy Prism to help heal people. I was a little bit late there, so it got kind of messy. You need to have your Beacon of Virtue up for these waves right here for sure, to the best of your ability. And then the second that it comes back off cooldown, I should be pressing it right now. I should press it, and I do. I press it right now. It's right before the mudslide. There's Holy Prism right there. A little bit desynced now. I'm using Holy Prism for this section here, but that's okay. I'm gonna have Divine Toll up hopefully in time. And here comes my next Virtue. My next Virtue is ready right now, so I should be pressing Beacon of Virtue right now. There it is. And then I'm gonna use some bigger cooldowns like Lay on Hands to help get me through this. But you want to have, yeah, you want to have Virtue up right before mudslide, and then put Virtue up right as the waves are coming out, okay? As you get towards the end of Swamp Face, you do not want to use your wings. You want to have your wings available for the next fight, which is Bubbles, if you can help it. If everybody is really, really dying, then there's an argument to be made for using wings. But generally speaking, by the end of this fight, you should have wings back up and available, and then you can use your wings on Bubbles, which is the next guy. You need cooldowns for him as well, so starting out with wings is pretty good. I would highly recommend stacking your group together over here to drop all of the bubble burps together, at least the first set of them. We didn't really do that here, so that's kind of a dangerous now. Splish Splash, and then he's going to do his AoE damage. The AoE damage is what you need to cover. Again, Cover it once with your wings, cover it a second time with Divine Toll and Holy Prism. I'm going to keep preaching that till I'm dead. This is just how you play it now. The wings one is very, very easy. And then we have the next one, which we covered with our 2 cooldowns. And you can keep covering this over and over again. And then I bubble and I walk through all the bubbles. I press Divine Shield and I just walk through all the bubbles because, you know, it was getting really, really messy. This was a pug, so, you know, I wasn't coordinated with anybody. Here comes Virtue. I don't have any cooldowns for this at all, which is kind of unfortunate. But we get a Hammer of Wrath proc. We have Prism coming up at the end of this, which is really good. There's a Prism into a couple of heals, and we're okay. But that was a little sketchy. Here's the last section. These Lightning Bolt guys, you need to kick these guys. Kick Lightning Bolt as much as you can, and then they're going to put a Lightning debuff on one of your allies. And this is not something that you can really stop. You can see it's on the Shaman right now. It does ticking damage over time, and eventually it will stun that target. So you must dispel your allies big time, and I get behind. You want to do it right away, otherwise you'll get behind on the dispels. If you get behind, somebody will eventually get stunned. You really don't want to do that, okay? So make sure you're on top of those dispels. This second last pack right here with the big guy and the 2 lightning guys, you're gonna have to use cooldowns here, like at least your Divine Toll and your Holy Prism. But you really don't want to use wings if you can help it. Unfortunately, my wings was off cooldown, so I didn't have wings back up again. But we ended up killing this pack. And then this is the final pack here. These are the double lightning circle dudes. That's what I've labeled them. Very dangerous, probably the most dangerous pack in the entire dungeon for you as a healer. It requires a lot of healing. Thankfully, I had a Shadow Priest in here. He was doing Vamp for this first little bit, and it kind of helped carry us through. But, you know, we get our cooldowns back. We have Holy Prism. I'm going to do Beacon of Virtue here into Holy Prism, and then that'll cover this damage right here. Get some big Eternal Flames out on people. And yeah, our healing is actually good enough. We didn't even need wings for it. I think on a higher key, you would absolutely have to use Avenging Wrath there. Final boss, this is Giesel Gigazap. Nothing too crazy going on here. Of course, at the beginning of the fight and throughout the fight, he does this turbocharge, which does an enormous amount of damage. You want to have something available for turbocharge. You want to have wings, or you want to have your Divine Toll Holy Prism combo as best you can. And yeah, just do your best. It's not too bad, but you have to have a cooldown ready to go for it. The tank, for the most part, needs to take care of themselves on this fight when they get thunder punched. There's really, like, this is not something that you can help with, or you should have to help with. It just isn't. The first time you get Giga Zapped, I would highly recommend you press Divine Shield. Just get rid of the Giga Zap. Just remove it. It's really annoying. Giga Zap does the most amount of damage, I would say, in this entire fight. It is the most important thing to look out for. The individual people who get Giga Zapped are going to die unless you intervene in a couple of different ways. Sometimes you have to blow minor cooldowns to actually just keep them alive. I'm using Beacon of Virtue here. I use Blessing of Sacrifice on the Druid because it just does an enormous amount of damage. And I use Divine Toll there as well. So just keep in mind, Giga Zap, it really is the problem in this boss fight. The turbocharge, again, the turbocharge is bad, but it's not as bad as Giga Zap. Okay. Sometimes you can make mistakes here, and we have a bit of a blunder by the tank here, unfortunately. I think that the tank was trying to use this pool for his little ad, his spark ad, and then the ranged players like were standing next to him, and they took over that pool with their little ad. So then he walks over here to get this ad to come to his pool. Unfortunately, he's standing in the pool when the ad gets there, and it stuns him. So now he's stunned for like 8 seconds or something, or 10 seconds, and he starts taking enormous amounts of damage right as the tank buster comes through, and he dies. Don't panic. Res him right away. And then I pop wings early. I wanted to delay my wings, but I can't because everybody was taking enormous amounts of damage right there. So sometimes you have to recover these kinds of situations, and if you don't recover them, then the whole team is dead. So just don't panic. Just be aware that could happen, and keep your head cool and get it done. Okay, and that's the fight. That's the plus 12. It's not too bad. There are several packs that require your attention, but just remember the golden rule of Holy Paladin right now in Season 2 is Beacon of Virtue plus Divine Toll and Holy Prism, or Beacon of Virtue plus Wings. Those are the two big things that you need to be watching out for. Okay, our damage overall, we did 427k. That is not bad. It's really not that bad. I think people are really sleeping on Holy Pally damage. I think it's fine. Some of our Holy Shocks were hitting for like 7 million almost, and then 5 million. That's because of Power of the Silver Hand, that talent that I take. It makes your Holy Shocks hit really, really hard, which is cool. This is what your healing will end up looking like as a breakdown, and that's it. That is the key in a nutshell. I don't know if I looked at my damage or not. I don't think I did. That's the key. So that's Holy Paladin, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you're interested in knowing more, drop a comment. I can answer any questions down there. Again, this is my build. I will link my build down below. So far, I have been... Oops, I just did a fine grip. I don't want to do that. We have done a 13 rookery, which has been really good. I got some 12s done, and I'm going to get the rest of the keys done at the 12 level as well. I'm at 2843 right now. We are climbing. We are pushing. I'm going to keep pushing hard and trying to get more content for you guys. So let me know what you think in those comments down below. Thank you so much again for watching. I love y'all. I'll see you in the next one.